Monday, February 5th, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So it's 9:30 p.m. The markets closed half an hour ago. Pretty historic day, I guess we'd have to say. The Dow finished down 1,175 points, or 4.6%. S&P finished down 4.09%, or down 113 points. And in the aftermarket, in the futures, we're down a further 380 as I speak here in the Dow, so another 1.5%. The S&P 500 is down in the 40, or 1.5%. I guess you can only, the only consolation we can have today for the financial system is that the 10-year yield has actually kind of crashed, which means bond prices have gone up. There has been flight to safety. We are now at 270. Earlier in the day, we were above 280. We were about 283. We got as high as 288. So a lot of volatility everywhere. So bond market's doing well. The other assets that did very well today, aside from bonds, were precious metals. Not only gold, but silver. Silver outperformed gold. Right now, we're up 0.75% in silver at 1672. Gold, 1338, up 5, or 0.4%. And the other interesting, encouraging thing that's happened today, even though the dollar index is rebounded today to 89.56, or 0.37, or 0.41%. We have seen gold do very well, especially in terms of British pounds. We're up 13.38 pounds, or 1.42%, at almost 960. Gold is also up almost 1% against a euro at 1,080, or just up above about 10 euros. So what's going on? I mean, let's have a look at the charts. I'll bring up the daily chart first for the Dow, so we can have a look. It's definitely, this is definitely not a situation where you're going to go in and buy the dip. There's something pretty historic going on here, I think. Short term, we could go down to 23,000, which is the 200-day moving average. Will it hold? Difficult to say. Let's have a look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart there. I mean, one area that we could look at eventually, and I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow or next week, but in the next few weeks, next month, or maybe even more, we could go and retest the area just above 18,000, which was a big resistance up until Donald Trump won the election in November 2016. I think the high had been around 18,600. So that's definitely a level where we could go and retest, because that was the breakout area. So and that trend line there that you see there, that's from the high in the year 2000 and the high in 2007 and 8. So that's where the trend line comes right now in the Dow. So why is it happening now? Well, I think markets just turn. People have been saying for the last few years that the markets are overbought. And people have been saying, oh, they're not going to let it drop. The central banks will manipulate it, but sometimes central banks can't fight the market. The market is much bigger than central banks. Central banks have tried to rig everything, and they've succeeded partially. since 2009. But this is like a chink on their armor, so to speak, because all the propaganda we've been hearing from governments, central banks, Keynesian mainstream economists from the banks, that the economies have, started doing really well. There's very low unemployment, low inflation, really good growth. They never talk about the fact that debt is ballooning, that the budget deficits are really high, not only in the US, but in the UK. And if you do the calculation for GDP and you take out the deficit, the economies are really not growing. It's the government that's keeping it going. I have to say, of course, for countries like Germany, who are actually running a surplus, their economies are healthier. But if this turn in the market is for real, watch out, not only for the markets, but for the whole economy, because our economies are highly geared for consumption and are highly based on credit. And all the credit, all the loans are backed by asset prices. So if asset prices start going down like they're going down right now, with all the leverage, with all the high levels of debt, it could be a really bad cocktail. And is it surprising to me? No. Is this, could this be just a blip, or, an opportunity to buy the dip and that things will improve again? I don't know. Is it the crashes of all crashes? Are we going to see a total implosion? I don't know. All I can say is that the charts don't look encouraging, just like when Bitcoin started going down from around 20,000. I said we need, it's going to take more time to go and make a new high. We're not out of the woods yet, and I gave some levels, some tentative levels around 8,000, which was some moving averages, and even lower. And today, even the cryptocurrencies went down quite a bit, and we're still down a bit, but we've rebounded from the low. So with the Dow and the S&P, the stock markets, this is like a pretty big event here, historic. I think the last time the Dow dropped 1,000 points was the flash crash, I think 2015, but that was intraday. That's the problem, you see, with the fact that we've been going up, without a correction, a big correction ever since, 2016 after the election of Donald Trump. The fact that we've gone from around 17,000 to 26,000 with not even a 2% correction. When you get the correction and the market is so nominally high, 26,000, you're going to get this kind of move of over 1,000 points. It's not surprising. This is the first day, of course, for the new Fed chairman, Jerome Powell. First day with the markets open. I think he might have started yesterday. I'm not sure if he was sworn in today or yesterday. I think it was today. So it's a baptism of fire. I mean, now that's the other thing we need to keep an ear out for. If there's going to be some kind of intervention, some kind of comments from the Treasury, from the White House, from the Federal Reserve, from other central banks around the world. Notice that gold was treading water just above 1330, and then when the drop in the stock market accelerated this afternoon in the US, gold actually popped to 1338, and as I speak here, we're right below 1340. So that's encouraging. The I noticed the precious metals mining stocks, they were down on the day, but not as percentage-wise. They were down only about 1% or so, maybe a little more, which compared to the stock markets is a good performance. You know, with the Dow down almost 5% and the S&P down 4%. What have I done today in terms of the markets? Or I actually bought some LITECOIN, and I've also bought some more EOS. I've contributed to the EOS, you know, crowdfunding event. As I leave here now, the Dow's down 270 points in the aftermarket. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and you can also follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later. Bye.